Hi guys, welcome to a new video. So today we are going to talk about the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse, and we are also going to talk about, or we are basically going to compare this mice here to the Logitech MX Master 3. So I've been using this mice here for about like 1 or probably even 2 years now, and I had almost no issues with it, but I thought like this one here would be a better choice now. So this one here is quite new. I think it came out in 2020, while this one here came out in 2017. So there's a 3 year gap between these two mices. But this one here is definitely also a great mice, and I've bought this one here because it has some neat features. But after trying it out or after using it for a few hours, I'm thinking of returning back again, and I'm also going to talk about why I actually think like that. Um, as you can see, I've also got a $10 gaming mouse on the right side here, but this one here is just there for some comparing purposes later on. And yeah, so I've been using this mice here for 1 year now, or probably even two, I can't really remember. And one thing I need to clear out is that I really had no problems with it, but there are some signs of usage visible, some wear visible. For example, here on the left side, it has got a rubber finish here, and you can see there are a few, I mean, the rubber is really fucked off here, and this here, I mean, it is kind of frustrating to see stuff like that. I mean, I got this, this here was already visible after 6 months of usage, so this was a bit unfortunate. Um, but this one here does only happen if you work on in places where the temperature is quite high, and if your hand gets sweaty and all that, and if you really need to work like hours with the mice. So this is a pretty common wear on the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse. But if you are working on a normal temperature office, or if you don't really need to work with your mice like 6 hours without any break, without taking your palm away, this won't actually happen. I'm pretty sure that this one here has got a better resistance for wear. So the rubber here, it definitely feels a bit harder compared to the rubber on the side of the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse. So I'm pretty sure that that this one here will still look like it's new, or it will look like it's just in new condition, even if you are using it for years. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. And yeah, so this one here has got a light gray hard surface here. This one here has got a rubber surface. So the rubber here is basically on the side here on this mice, and the rubber on this one here is like everywhere. Okay, the only places where the rubber is not present are the keys. So these are made out of hard plastic, and yeah. So I've got both mices in gray, so this one here is available in black as well, while this one here is also available in black, and there's a special space black for the Mac version. But yeah, so that's it. I've bought the gray versions of both just because I wanted it, or I wanted them to match my modern keyboard of Microsoft, and I think they do match. I mean, the colors, they match quite good. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about the positive sides of both of them. I'm also going to talk about the negative sides of them. And yeah, of course, I will also let my personal thoughts. I'm also going to talk about my personal thoughts. So everybody has, I mean, I'm pretty sure that everybody has got their own taste when it comes to mices, or when it comes to computer gadgets and all that. Um, but yeah, so now let's start. All right, so we've already talked about the design a little bit, but now let's move in a little bit deeper. So you can see that the design of the Microsoft Surface, or the surface of the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse is a bit more flat compared to the surface of the Logitech MX Master 3. So, and that they definitely makes a big difference when it comes to ergonomics. So I mean, the biggest difference is on the lower end of your palm here. So if you are using the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse, you really feel like it's covering your full palm, okay? So your palm basically rests quite easy on the surface of the mice. And on this one here is a bit different. So you can see that the lower end of the mice has got a a pitch of 45%, I would say, and not percent, degrees. And on this one here, it's like probably 30. So this one here is definitely flat or more flat compared to this one here. So and therefore, I mean, this one here has got a stall um, and surface here, and therefore your palm does rest a little bit different on this one here. So on this one you will really need to grab the mice. So this is the huge difference. So on this one here, your palm basically just rests, or your whole palm does rest completely on the surface of the mice. And on this one here, the lower end of your palm basically does not rest on the surface of the mice. But on this one here, you can definitely grab the mice. On this one here, grabbing is not that easy. So this is the biggest difference in ergonomics I found out. It is definitely, it feels really different. I mean, if you use this mice for like 1 hour, and if you switch to this one, then you will really notice the difference. And you will also notice the difference if you do it backwards. That is the biggest thing in ergonomics. And yeah, so everybody has got their own taste. I really like my palm to, I like my palm to get filled by the complete mice surface here, and it's basically not the case on the left one here. Alright, so now I think we should talk about the features after talking that much. So, at the first look, you can see, or you can think, that this mice here on the left side is more feature packed than this one here, because I mean it has got this side wheel and all that stuff, but there's only, I mean, it's only the side wheel which is present on this one here, which this one doesn't have. Everything else is basically similar, so they are packing the same features. The side key is basically the only thing which is not present on the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse. So you can still scroll horizontally together with mice. I'm going to show you how this is going to work. But everything else is the same. So this is definitely something which you need to keep in mind. You've got your two normal keys, of course, on both of them. Then you've got your wheel. We are going to talk about the wheel later on. You've got your key to switch the mode of your wheel on both of them. You've got your back and forward keys on both of them, and you've got a gesture key on the thumb resting place on the Logitech, and you've got your gesture key between the forward and the backwards key on the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse. So they are placed, I mean, all keys are placed on the same position except for the gesture key, which is here and here on the Surface mouse. All right, so now I want to talk about the feeling of the keys. So first of all, the normal keys, they have got a different resistance. So on this one here, the resistance is quite low, so you can press on there by applying just a little bit of pressure. And on this one here, you will need to press a bit harder, but that's definitely not a problem on the Microsoft Surface Precision mouse. It's still quite okay. I mean, it's definitely not a problem. And I think that, I mean, the low resistance of the Microsoft of the MX Master 3 might, I mean, in my case, I used to press on the right key quite often by mistake. So every time when I had my middle finger resting on this key here, I pressed it by mistake. So I'm used to this mice here, and here it basically doesn't happen. And when I switched to this one here, I had big issues with pressing on the right key by mistake. So this is something which you need to keep in mind. So if you have used a mice which has got a high resistance for their keys, you might get some issues on the MX Master 3, but I'm pretty sure that you will get used to the high sensitive keys on the MX Master. Um, all right. Then we've got our side keys. So I think that the side keys of the Microsoft mouse is they are basically placed a bit better. So when you use your mouse, your thumb already is in position of the forward key or the gesture key. And in this one here, your thumb basically rests underneath your navigation key. So on this one here, your thumb is already over there, and in this one here, you'll always need to raise up your thumb in order to use these keys. Yeah, so now let's talk about the biggest difference, and the biggest difference is in the scrolling wheel. So both of them, I mean, both scrolling wheels are made out of metal. The scrolling wheel of the Logitech mice has got a neat feature. So if you turn on the option where the scrolling wheel always snaps into place, so it is not a smooth scrolling, but if you do that fast scrolling, it will automatically go back into the free scrolling mode. So you will need, I mean, you don't really need to turn on the free scrolling mode in order to use it. So you can just scroll really quick, and it is going to it's still going to rotate. And the feature is basically not present over here. But the biggest difference, which I really need to talk about, is this smooth scrolling, and it's basically much better on this one here, or this, not the smooth scrolling, but we can call it precise scrolling. So this one here has got a much more, or a much preciser scrolling wheel. So I will demonstrate you that. So if you open any application, for example, a CAD application, and if you turn on the free scrolling mode on the Microsoft Surface mouse, and if you also turn on the free scrolling mode on the Logitech mice, you can see that this zooming process has still got this jumping effect over here, as you can see. On this mice, though, we've got a really smooth experience. So this is something which you really need to keep in mind. This is a really big game changer, and it's not just in some CAD works, it's basically all over the system. If you go to the start menu, and if you are scrolling over here, you can see it scrolls with this jumping effect, even if I'm scrolling really small distances over here. And in this one here, it's really smooth. So you can do some really precise scrollings with the Microsoft Surface Precision Mouse. There is an option for the Logitech mice which is called smooth scrolling. So I've activated this one here, but this will just work on a few applications. So it will work on Edge, Microsoft Edge, for example. As you can see, I'm using the Logitech right now. You can see you can do some smooth scrolling with the Logitech as well, but it doesn't work on all programs. So it does work on Microsoft Edge, it does work on Microsoft Office, but it does not work on all programs. And sometimes not even this one here works. So as you can see now, it is turned off again. So there are some big problems with smooth scrolling on the Logitech mice, and this one here is doing way better when it comes to smooth scrolling. And another thing which I want to talk about is the resistance of the middle key here. So if you want to use the middle key, you will definitely need to press much harder to open the middle key function. And also you're also feeling the spring inside of the mice here when you press the middle key. And it's not the case on this one here. So you are not able to feel the spring inside of the Microsoft mouse, and you don't need to apply a lot of pressure in order to use the middle button. So this is a small thing I found out. So the normal keys, they've got really less resistance, but the middle key of the MX Master, it has got a really, really huge resistance. On this one here, they are basically all the same, which is really nice. Yeah. So this is all I've got to talk about the keys. So now let's talk about the features, or the other features these two mice got. So first of all, I mean, this mice is a new mice, therefore it comes with a USB Type-C. This one here is using micro USB, unfortunately, but we can't blame Microsoft for that because this mice came out back in 2017, while this one here is a mice which got released last year. Both of them have got the option to use 3 different PCs. So here you can press the button to switch your PC. The same feature is present on the Microsoft mouse as well. Both of them have also got a feature, a software feature where you can basically use your PC over here and your laptop over here, and you just need to move the mice to the left edge over here and basically go to the PC, which is or your laptop, which is basically on the left. Both of them have got the same feature, so there's absolutely no difference in total. Okay, so there's one thing I forgot to talk about the scrolling wheel on the Logitech. So this one here is way faster. So if you really need to scroll through a lot of lines, this one here is definitely better, but it's not a big deal, I think, because in Windows you can change the speed of the scrolling. So this one here, I mean, you can change the speed of the scrolling, and this one here will also be really fast. So this is something which you also need to keep in mind. So this one here, I mean, if you are scrolling over here, the wheel just, I mean, it won't stop until you put your finger on it once again. This one here, I mean, it doesn't scroll longer than 2 seconds. Okay, so this one here scrolls for 2 seconds, while this one here can scroll for longer than a minute. Yeah, so let's move on. I've already talked about the Type-C here, about the Type-C feature. So you can, I mean, this Type-C feature is, or this Type-C port is there just for charging up the device. So you cannot use this mice via cable. So you cannot use a Type-C cable and connect it to your PC and use the mice through cable. This one here, I mean, you can use this mice here. I mean, you can use a normal USB-A to micro USB cable to use this mice together with a cable. And the cables, they have, I mean, if you are using your mice with a cable, there will be absolutely no latency. So you can use this mice with a cable. You can also use it via Bluetooth. Of course, Bluetooth has got huge latency, but it is like wireless, which is quite nice. You cannot use this mice wired. It's not possible. But therefore, Logitech has got this dongle instead, which is also almost as good as a cable mice. Okay, so if you want to have a wireless mice, and if you also want good latency, this one is the better one. So because, I mean, the USB dongle does its job perfectly. So there's less latency and it's still wireless and it works just fine. But if you are okay with cables, this one is the one to go for, because this one does not support cables, and cables are definitely the best when it comes to latency. Yeah. All right, so that should be it, guys. In total, I mean, I've talked about everything I found out, so about all differences I found out between these two mices. Everybody has got their own taste. I will definitely stick with my old mice here just because of the ergonomics of it and the way I use it. And the most important thing for me was actually the smooth scrolling, which I can do with the Microsoft Surface mouse here, and which is not available on the MX Master. So it is available, but in just a few programs, so it doesn't work everywhere, which is really unfortunate. So I will definitely stick with this one here. This one here does also look quite clean and compared to this one here. So this one really looks feature packed with all these keys and all that. But in all, it has got one feature more compared to this one. It's just this scrolling wheel. And you can also use this mice here for horizontal scrolling as well. So if we get in here and if I zoom in a lot, I can also press on the gesture key here and use this normal wheel to scroll horizontally. So you can also use this mice here for horizontal scrolling. It does work quite well. Another way is, of course, to press on the middle key and to do this gesture. So it's not a big deal. I mean, the scrolling wheel is not a big deal, and I mean, this mouse really looks way too feature packed. And you can also hear some noises when you shake this mice. This one here basically won't make any noises and all that. So this is stuff which I really care about. In all, I really think that this one here has got a better build quality, but you really need to take care of this rubber side here. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I'm definitely going to return this mice, and yeah, that's it, guys. Peace out.